What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Her Playbook podcast with Devon and Jaden. This is officially our final episode of season 1.
It is, and it has been a long time coming. We just got back from Chicago yesterday. We took off on a plane on Wednesday, and I think we got the official on Monday.
Yeah.
It was very stressful.
Booked the flights, booked the hotel. It was a very quick turnaround.
And it all came down to if this one team, they take the top 10 in and they potentially could give 2 wild cards, but they've never given wild cards in the past 5 years. So it usually just drops down to the bottom 2. We're ranked number 12. So then all of a sudden, this Olympic team signed up that is lower than us in rankings because they haven't played in an AVP in a while. And we were like, oh my God, they're going to get it. And so that's why we didn't know it all. I kid you not, I was messaging anyone I could who might know an answer. So then I made all these random connections here. And I was like, wait, I got to tell my agent to go ask this person if we're in. And then we got we kept getting you're probably in. It sounds like you're in. I asked someone that says you're in, but then we got the official on Monday.
It was super stressful.
Yeah.
It was, and it's also, it's the last big tournament. It's the last big Heritage Series tournament to get you into the league. So there was a lot on the line for this one. And I think we had just worked so hard all summer for this. And yeah, it felt amazing when we got the yes and we're like, okay, phew, we're in. And then we arrived in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago also is has been my favorite tour stop for the past 3 or 4 years because the way, I'll insert a picture, but it is you are playing with the skyline. It's unbelievable backdrop. And my sister's living in Chicago right now. So it was a big family trip. And I have my favorite restaurants there. I love that city. And so it was just so fun to do it. And I think what's so exciting about walking into a tournament when we were teetering if we were even going to get in or not is we literally have nothing to lose. We weren't supposed to be here technically.
Exactly.
So that felt really good. Walking into Chicago is that I wasn't supposed to be here. So now it's just getting to have some fun.
Exactly. Yeah, we also continued to play against the same teams that we've been playing against in previous tournaments, which kind of was a bummer. I mean, there's not a lot of seed changes throughout the tournament. So we ended up playing 2 of the same teams that we played in Manhattan, and it was a little bit tough because we were we want to play someone new, but I thought we played really well, and we ended up losing in the 3rd set tiebreaker in both matches. So it was 2 and done, which was hard because it was we have so much left in the tank and we wanted to continue to play. But I mean, it was hard not to just be grateful to be there and to look around at the competition and be we're here with the best of the best. That counts for something. So
totally. I think that what we always talk about is I mean, I've been saying this a lot, but it would hurt way, way more if it was your ceiling had a cap. And so it's if you're taking these teams and you're losing in 2 straight, but it's it honestly, sometimes it does make it hurt more, the fact that you can beat these teams. But I think that when I look back on our rookie season, it's the fact that we're running so close with these teams who are ranked so much higher than us. This is that 3rd setter where we're down by a couple points. That is the switch of being a rookie. We're playing against people who have experience and they know how to terminate in those last 5 to 10 points.
Yeah.
And in the college game, that's what we thrived at is we were the old ones being we know how to terminate in the last 5 points of the game.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to be full circle. Now we're back to being the young ones who have to learn to do that.
Yeah.
But I think, the fact that, I don't know, I'm reflecting on the partners from everyone around me. And it's I see so many switches that are going to happen. And I see so many people that are unhappy with how their season went. But for us, I feel it was just the start and it was so fun. And I had the best time. And that's why I play the sport, is because it's so fun. It left me wanting more, which we get more of. But in terms of the AVP, it left me definitely wanting more.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't agree more. I think it was fun being the up and coming team who we just have a lot to prove. And exactly like you were saying, I just feel we have so much potential and that's really exciting. And I think the sky's the limit for us. It was a really fun first AVP season.
Yeah, I think so too. Which brings us to the league, because it might be the end of the AVP season for us, but it's not for everybody.
Exactly.
So basically the AVP league, it's starting for the first time this year. It's going to take 8 teams in each gender, and you're going to be assigned a city, even though those teams really aren't practicing in those cities. You're just being placed into the cities as a name. And then I think it's going to be only 6 travel to each event. And like, so you'll have like an off weekend or two, but basically like you'll go to these different events for 8 weekends and you'll compete against the same people over and over again, somewhat like a regular league would. And then you have a final championship where the top 4 will play it out. What's very different than any other season for like the league purpose is athletes are actually getting paid. So it's like each team is making close to 40 grand.
Yeah.
And like that's guaranteed. And you get bonuses if you win some matches, you get bonuses if you win the tournaments, whatever it may be. That is literally unheard of for beach volleyball. This is the first time it's ever happening. So it is like incredibly exciting. Although it was incredibly exciting, there's a lot that's like super unknown. And there was a lot super unknown going into this weekend, which led to some very, very crazy events, if you want to discuss it.
Yeah. I mean, I think AVP as a whole just left it kind of broad.
I think they did that for a reason.
I think they did too. I mean, I don't think that they even knew like what was going to come of it. So all of us players were like, okay, like, are they going to take 8 and then is it going to turn into 10 or is it going to be 6 and turn into 8? And like, I think it was just a lot on the line.
Oh, that's a huge point as well.
Yeah.
They always left the like room open to say we the AVP at any point can grant 2 wild cards.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the wild cards could have either made it from 8 to 10 or from 6 to 8. So like the whole time we're thinking like, oh, okay, it's going to be 10. Like we're looking pretty good because we were on the hunt.
Yeah, we thought here Jaden and I were thinking that we might be in.
We were on the hunt. So we were like, oh, okay, totally. Like we just need to place well in these tournaments and then maybe we can go ahead of some people, which wasn't super far-fetched.
No, had it been they were letting those people in and the wild cards didn't drop down or whatever it may be, we were in a really good position.
Yeah, we were. Like it was even cool to like be in the hunt for it because there were Olympians that take up like the first 3 spots, 4 spots. Yeah. In Chicago, 2 teams that were placed in like 7th?
Yeah, 7th and 8th.
Ended up finishing in 9th in the tournament. Both of them lost in that round. And so the AVP was like, oh God, like what do we do? Kind of like scrambling. They ended up making a decision to have them face off and play in Chicago after they both had lost in the tournament. And we've already been talking about this a lot, but once you lose in a tournament, something like switches off in your brain and you're like, okay, kind of like relieved and not relieved, but like you go through the emotions.
It's done. Like, you like, go through like your 7 stages of grief.
You go from player mode to like, okay, now I'm just like here, you know?
You also, sometimes you drink. Like Jaden and I lost and we were at the bar. So thank God we didn't get called up for a match.
Basically a couple hours later, the AVP gets both of these teams together and explains that they need to do a face-off head-to-head game 2 out of 3 to 15, and it was going to be at 5 p.m. on Stadium Court. And just the drama and the heaviness around that match, not even a match, less than a match, for $40,000. Like
that's the biggest piece is that like, yes, there's even more money that goes into that 40,000 because it's like your sponsors will pay you more to go to these tournaments.
Yeah.
You're going to get paid more through the exposure of it and like gain more of a following or more people around you, whatever it may be. You could get more sponsorships because of it because you're guaranteed another 8 weeks of season. So like the fact that it came down to this match, also a big piece is like why these 2 teams had to play it out because they were both in the top 8 and they're taking 8 teams to the league.
So they also both figured that they were in
it. They had no idea that they were like, there was even a consideration that they weren't until they got told that Alex and April Ross are coming back to play in the league, which I think everybody was under the impression they were completely done just because they didn't play in AVP Chicago.
Yeah.
And they had announced it actually a couple times. I had seen in articles April talking about how she's not doing Chicago and Manhattan was most likely going to be her last, but she wants to make like kind of a retirement post kind of thing.
So everyone figured they were just out.
Yeah. So I think that's what made it even more brutal is like you think you're good in the league.
Yeah.
There's always that like feeling. I mean, it was the same with us walking into Chicago is like we should be good to go into Chicago, but you never know if a wild card's going to throw you. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened to them is a wild card threw them. And it's like they not only do they lose, they lost to a team they should have beat, arguably. They've beaten them rankings wise, they should have beaten them. And they've beaten them before. So it's like they already had to finish both teams were not happy with.
Yeah.
And then now you have to like decompress with that because you're also not doing well in your tournament.
Yeah.
And then you have to go turn around and play a match for upwards of $40,000.
Yeah, it was hard. And we were on the sidelines watching it with our friends and family. And it was sad just because I feel like both teams really deserved it. And they've both worked really, really hard. And I don't know, it was hard to see these two teams have to like go at each other when another team just didn't like straight up deserve it. Like, I think that yes, it makes sense why this team got the wild card, and it makes sense for the league.
It 100%. Had it been transparent, I think that would have been a completely different story.
Yeah.
But I think for me, what was a really hard watch was knowing that they both thought they had it, and then they have to play against each other now.
Yeah, and then it's like it ends, and I just thought it was so special. They all four did a group hug, and it was like super emotional, and it sucked watching too, because it's like I want to feel happy for this team that won, but the team that lost, like, that's heavy. Like they just lost like a huge opportunity that they thought like was in the bag, and it's gone within I don't know 30 minutes. Like it was a crazy event.
No, I mean, it was insane. I'm glad we got to witness it and that we were there for it, because it was just like we had a huge dinner reservation at 7 p.m. So we were back and forth. As much as they were trying to figure out what they were doing, we were trying to get like backhand information to be like, oh, we have a dinner reservation. Like, do we have to push it back, cancel it, whatever. But yeah, Chicago was nuts. There was also, I'm sure, like the shove heard around the world, which that was just crazy. If I can insert clip, I will. If not, I won't. But it was just a big tournament, and I'm glad we did it, but I'm also glad it's over, because I think that what we had been talking about is the blessing about the league making it or not is there's a positive either way.
Yep.
If we make it, amazing. We have another 8 weeks of playing, and we get to like grind out, make some money.
Money in
a little bit of money in our pocket. If we don't, we've been going since we haven't really had a full break since January, and that was from UCLA.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks after season, or a week and a half, it's like we had AVP Huntington, and it's been go ever since. Having a second to decompress and like actually take a couple weeks to work on things outside of this that I'm excited to do and prepare for the next season, and like, I don't know, like find out things that I want to do besides this. You know what I mean? That's also been really important for me, and I've been waiting for that time to come, and I'm glad it's finally here.
It's like another chapter. I need to figure out what I'm doing for jobs.
100%.
And I think it's a really exciting time.
I think so too. And what we had been talking about is like, we've constantly been saying like we want to grow women's sports, and like we want to be a part of this huge change that's going to get more visibility and more money into women's pockets, essentially.
Yeah.
It's so easy to talk about, and it's like another thing to actually go and sit and do it. And I need time where I can go sit and do it, which is why we had discussed taking like this hiatus / ending like season 1 of this Her Playbook, because I learned so much, but I need to like get back in, and then the things that we're talking about that are so exciting, like I actually need to go do those things to put them in place.
Yeah, we want to put them into effect. And we talk about so much, and we have so many ideas for this, and it's really exciting. But I think taking a little time to plan things out 100%. Like is only going to make this even better. And yeah, I mean, looking back on season 1, we had some really amazing guests, and we had some fun episodes, and I feel like we learned so much from each and every person that we got to talk to and hear about their stories. So yeah, if you guys are listening to this, thank you so much for coming on and being a part of Her Playbook. And yeah, we're excited for season 2 to start too.
Yeah, I'm already excited. Like, I'm going to miss like sitting in here and talking, but it's also a quick short break. It's not like we're going away for a year.
No.
But I think that it'll just come back with so much more added to it, that's what I've been waiting to get into. And we are definitely in the process of making those things happen. So I'm very excited.
Yes, we are.
Okay, that's it for this episode and the end of season 1.
Yay.
Thank you so much for tuning in to our first season. It really means the world. You guys are officially our first listeners like early on, and you can say that forever. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and we will see you soon.
Bye, guys.